Yes, this might end up being one of the dumbest picks I'm about to make of the entire year. I'm painfully aware of that, but even though I'm a massive Fluffy fan and believer in the guy, I'm very 50-50 on this upcoming UFC Houston main event, and like a Mac Miller himself, I can't fight the feeling that Sean Strickland, of all people, is going to be able to beat Fluffy, okay? So today I'm going to give you all a pretty quick breakdown as to why. So getting into it, man, why? Why pick Strickland? He's a big underdog-ish, and everybody and their grandmother is digging in the grave, talking about how Fluffy's going to go out there and beat the absolute hell out of Strickland. My main things with Strickland is, listen, I understand that he's at the lowest point in his career ever since kind of winning the title because he's lacking that momentum, being a lot more inactive, and coming off such a, let's be honest, brutal beating from Drickus 50-45ing. You go from being the guy that got robbed to now it's like, okay, you kind of robbed the fans of their money when in the rematch you just got beat up, and it's unfortunate. I think that Strickland is going to bounce back a bit better from that last performance. I think that when you look at the last fucking 5 or 10 years of Strickland's career, he hasn't really had those kinds of lows, and I think it went to show how good Drickus was that night and how much he improved and prepared for Sean. So actually for Fluffy himself, right, I'm bringing this up because, listen, I think that people are putting too much emphasis on Strickland is just going to get dog walked. Did you see how he looked against DDP, Coaster right before, man? Like, if you look at in the grand scheme, like, look at some of Fluffy's best wins. Like, one of them is Brendan Allen. Sean Strickland knocked out Brendan Allen. Sean Strickland beat Nasruddin Imavov. Sean Strickland beat Israel Adesanya. Listen, one of Fluffy's best wins is that he TKO'd Roman Dolidze. I would pick Sean Strickland to fucking TKO Roman Dolidze. What was it, the 4th round for Fluffy? The 4th round for Strickland. I'd give Strickland fucking 3. I think Fluffy's win over Michelle Pereira, great, but I would pick Strickland to do something similar. I don't think Strickland should be written off like this. I actually think when you look at it fire to fire, not only just talking about, listen, the resumes, I'm getting all into like the status of how Strickland's been an unk forever, Fluffy's gaining a lot of momentum and hype, he's rising the ranks, but let's just talk about the actual matchup, right? I genuinely think that Strickland has a lot of the necessary strengths and qualities and fucking accolades to be able to meet Fluffy head-to-head here, man. I think Sean Strickland has the necessary takedown defense and defensive grappling, and when he's in these uncomfortable scrambles, efficiently getting back up to his feet, Sean isn't much of an offensive wrestler, man. That's going to be all Fluffy in this fight, shooting takedowns, but Strickland's takedown defense, especially for the bigger boys, man, it's up there. It's fucking good. You see him wrestling around the USA singlet. You know, here's the fucking thing, Fluffy. You see me sweating in this goddamn red, white, and blue thing. You think I'm gonna lose to your bitch-ass motherfucker? I'm gonna go to war for you fucking guys. You know, Strickland is gonna be ready for the takedowns. He's gonna be ready for the cardio. Speaking of the cardio, the cardio that drowns everybody, right? That's what people were saying about fucking Strickland, but the striking version. Now, I get it, because Strickland doesn't have the same finishing instincts or exact momentum that Fluffy's building up right now, besides winning the title and that great streak he was on eventually at that point. But my thing is that Strickland can meet him in that 5-rounder just dogfight scenario. He can meet him with the takedown defense if Fluffy is just spamming takedowns. Yeah, he'll probably win round 1, but you gotta worry about round 2, 3, 4, 5. This is when Fluffy just takes away guys on the judges' scorecards, just puts them in their mouth and chews them up and spit them out. Sean Strickland, I'm having such a hard time seeing Fluffy just dog walk him in the grappling. I just can't see it in my mind if I really close my eyes, man. If you put me in one of those fucking Joe Rogan hyperbolic water chambers, I'm blanking on the name, you know what I'm talking about, right? The sensory deprivation tanks, there we go. If you put me in one of those and you just gave me all the time in the world to just truly think of a world where I could see Strickland getting dog walked in the grappling for 5 rounds by Fluffy, or Fluffy, for God forbid, submits him, I'm sorry, for as good as Fluffy is, I can't see it. Even if Fluffy wins, which, okay, he probably will, he might, to be honest, right? I think he should be the favorite, but I just think it'd be like a 48-47 decision where people are surprised how competitive Strickland made it. I think Strickland has the cardio, the takedown defense necessary, and also the high-level UFC experience, and also the necessary resume. This guy has fought better strikers than Fluffy. Let's talk about the striking, right? Strickland has the striking advantage. I'm just going to be honest. The unorthodox yet so simple Philly shell stance on the feet. Strickland is the better boxer here, and the fact that you have someone who can go 5 rounds for days in the grappling and Fluffy versus someone who can go 5 rounds for days sparring in the gym over and over and over. In Strickland, let's see whose cardio outmatches who. Strickland has a really hard time when his opponents are the one pressuring him, so I understand that. Like, yeah, Strickland could be really good with his defense and really good on the back foot, but regardless, though, Strickland can struggle when he's not the one dictating the pace, dictating the flow of the fight, and dictating where it goes. And you're thinking, like, Smoke, then why the fuck are you picking Strickland? Because he's going against someone who's all pressure and all dictating where the fight goes in Fluffy, and he's got the slight, you know, he's slightly younger, slightly slightly faster, probably around the same with the pop behind their shots. You know what I'm saying? He might be the more aggressive fighter, so then why go with Sean? I think that the fucking rematch against DDP might have accidentally prepped Sean for this fight. I think that he's not going to allow himself to just allow Fluffy just carry away in the judges' scorecards. I think he's going to be able to have a fire lit underneath his ass. I feel like he'll maybe, hopefully at least, be able to get out of this getting too overly comfortable in sparring mode and actually utilizing the striking advantage. Actually just stuffing these takedowns, keeping the fight standing. And if Sean keeps the fight standing, which I'm counting on he will, I feel like that he'll be the one that's able to really pressure Fluffy against the fence and be able to really piece him up on the feet. And then all of a sudden in rounds 2 and 3, it's kind of like a Umar Marab, like the changing of the tide when the third round hits. I can see Strickland just immediately stuffing most of the takedowns, really keeping the fight standing, and just efficiently piecing him up on the feet and just unloading with the volume and output, not necessarily power, but the volume and output that Strickland is known for. And I think that Fluffy might lose confidence if in the first 2 rounds, all these takedowns are being stuffed. Now, don't get me wrong, I think he'll win the first 2 rounds. I think no matter who wins this, it'll probably be a 49-46 or 48-47. But I'm trusting in Sean to gain the momentum as the second and especially third round and beyond hits. I'm sure Fluffy's going to take him down a few times, at least most of them, getting back up to his feet efficiently or just stuffing them, whatever. I'm trusting in Sean to learn from these past couple of stinkers of performances. He's still only 34 years old. I would pick him to do similar things to what Fluffy's doing in a lot of this comp. And I think that honestly, even though Drickus beat Sean twice, I think that Drickus is somehow a better matchup for Fluffy than Sean, considering the possible cardio or takedown defense concerns with Drickus, especially after the Hamza fight, you know? So my point is, man, I'm going with Sean. I'm going with him via a 48-47 decision, via the takedown defense really shining, and via Sean just having a people forget man performance. And again, the fact that he's not 38 to 40 years old helps me as well. Like, Sean is in the middle of his technical, physical fucking prime. And I think that people forget how good he really is and how deep the resume can be. And don't get me wrong, Fluffy is a very hard matchup for him, but in the same way where I think Sean is a really hard matchup for Fluffy. So don't get me wrong, Fluffy should be the favorite. I was originally going to go with him, and I still am a massive Fluffy fan, and I can really see him winning this fight for sure, okay? There's a reason he's the favorite, but overall, I'm going with Sean Strickland via a 48-47 decision. And the striking is really showing, and he's going to have a people forget man kind of performance, okay? Thank you guys so very much for giving me your time and attention. Appreciate y'all making it this far. Let me know your opinions in the comments below, and I'll see y'all next time.